If you want to become a technical Spider-Man player, this is the video for you. I'm going to cover everything from combat to settings to movement, everything you need to know in order to be a technical Spider-Man player. Let's get right into it, starting off with settings. So first up for settings, you want to go into settings, then you want to go to keyboard, click on Spider-Man because there is some unique settings you can only set for Spider-Man, and then scroll down and turn on hold to swing, turn off automatic swing, get over here targeting, set that to a separate key from get over here. If you want to know why we are changing these settings, you can watch my Spider-Man guide video, but I'm assuming you already have some experience on the character at this point, so I'm not going to describe what those settings do at this moment because I feel like it would just be a waste of time. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about movement first, now that we have these settings out of the way. So the number one thing you need to realize when you're moving around with the movement webs is that you are going to do these stupid animations that kill all of your momentum. This is true for both when you're swinging in the air and when you're swinging on the ground. We never want to go into these animations because not only do they kill our momentum, but they can also get us killed because we're just sitting ducks in the air as we're slowly floating throughout the air, or we're slowly doing a roll on the ground. We need to always negate these animations, but how do we do it? There's a few options. While we're swinging in the air, we can just let go and we will keep all of our momentum. We can shoot a web, but this is probably the worst option available because you might as well just let go. And then finally, we can do an uppercut, which is going to give you even more horizontal momentum than just letting go. So really, your two options here are let go or do an uppercut. It just depends where you're trying to go. Most of the time I find myself just letting go, but if you're doing a rollout or really trying to desperately get to a location and don't mind using your uppercut, just do the uppercut. Now on the ground, it only comes down to one option, and that is shooting a web. If we shoot a web, it is going to cancel the animation. Now, if you don't know what b-hopping is, it is taking advantage of this animation cancel in order to fully maintain your momentum on the ground. So we just jump afterwards like that, and now all of my horizontal momentum is here to stay throughout multiple jumps, not just my first jump. Every time I jump, I will carry over a little bit of momentum from that first swing. This is extremely hard to master because you need to time your jumps absolutely perfectly, or else you'll do a double jump like I just did there. If you don't time your jump, the second that you hit the ground, you are going to do a double jump like that. Furthermore, while we're talking about movement, it is worth noting you can keep all of your horizontal momentum no matter which way you are looking, as long as you are jumping on time. So what this means is that I can go around corners by turning my camera. I have total control over my camera as long as I continue to hit those jumps on time, and as long as I press the key corresponding to where I want to go, or if you're on controller, pressing your joystick in the direction of the location that you want to go. But you can move your camera wherever you want. It's definitely worth noting that. You have to master b-hops if you want to master technicality with Spider-Man. This is something you are going to spend a long time trying to learn, but once you finally get it, it is going to be worth it. Now we need to talk about all the TikTok clips you've been seeing of people getting pulled off at Mach 10 speeds. This is how they're doing it. They're doing a b-hop, and then after they jump, they're doing an uppercut. And this is going to give you all of that horizontal momentum. And then, because we said get over here and get over here targeting two separate keys at the beginning of this video, even when someone is webbed, you are still going to be able to pull them and not dash towards them. What this means is that all you have to do is press your get over here key as you are flying with the uppercut, and you are going to be able to pull your opponents off of the map. Now, is this worth doing? Something you have to understand is this ability has one of the hardest hitboxes to actually hit in the game. It is extremely accurate. If I'm even to the left or right of my opponent a little bit, I am not going to hit it. Or I'm going to hit it. Okay. You get what I mean, man. This is extremely hard to hit. And what that means is if you are flying off of the map at Mach 10 speed, it might be a little hard to not only hit that shot, but also to hit that shot while you are moving at full speed, trying to aim at your opponent and taking range into consideration, because this thing's range is really not that far. So you have to hit it at the perfect timing, or else congratulations, you're going to be dealing with a 10-second cooldown as you slowly try to recover back on the map. So really, in a real game, is this worth doing? Sometimes, but I wouldn't make it one of your main tools because it's very inconsistent. No one has perfect aim and no one has perfect timing when it comes to pulling people off of the map. And also they can get stuck on ledges like that right there. You're not going to hit this thing every single time. Next, I want to talk about animation cancels. Now, no matter how precise I get when telling you how to do this animation cancel, I will always get a comment from some guy on console, "You really didn't describe that well." I don't understand how people aren't able to figure out how to do this, but I'm going to go through it so slow so that everyone watching this video can do this animation cancel. For starters, why would you do this animation cancel? Well, if I do an uppercut and then I melee afterwards, I'm going to do a normal punch. If I do an uppercut and I shoot a web and then melee, I'm going to do a normal punch. Now, this is where the comments really come barking at me. They say you don't need to shoot a web afterwards, which we'll get more into that because obviously you don't know what I'm talking about yet. If I do an uppercut, shoot my movement web, and melee, I am going to do a normal melee attack. If I do an uppercut and I am looking at a surface, quickly tap my web, I am going to lose my web. This is why we need to do an uppercut. We need to shoot a movement web, and we need to cancel the movement web with a spider tracer. And what this is going to do is not only keep your web, and I'm going to prove it because I'm always getting comments about this. I'm going to keep my web. As you can see, I'm at 3 webs, despite the fact I very clearly just shot a movement web. And then it is going to allow me to do an overhead punch, which is Spider-Man's best form of doing damage besides an uppercut, which, as a matter of fact, the overhead does, I believe, do pretty much the same amount of damage as an uppercut, which is why this is extremely important tech to know. You need to do this. Web into spider tracer. Uppercut, web, spider tracer, melee. Uppercut, web, spider tracer, melee. So it's movement web, spider tracer, melee after an uppercut. Or you can do it while you're in the air. If I jump off this ledge, I'm not going to do an overhead, but if I jump off this ledge, cancel, bam. This is an extremely important tech, and it is something you need to know how to do if you want to be a technical Spider-Man. Why? Because it comes with a combo that automatically kills 300 health characters, but if you're fighting a tank, this is going to be your best way of doing damage. Just overheads. There's one more animation cancel that is worth knowing, and that is punch web. Just worth knowing, man. I mean, it's very simple to do, obviously. If I do web punch, you can see how slow it is. Punch web is extremely fast. Now we need to talk more about this overhead punch, because if you want to be a technical Spider-Man, this is knowledge that you have to know. As I mentioned earlier, your best way of killing a tank is going to be doing this combo right here. But let's talk about what actually gives you the option to do an overhead. You can double jump. That gives you the option. You can jump off a wall. And that's it. Or you can do the animation cancel. Now, if I do an overhead and then I jump, I'm going to do a normal punch. But if we carry over the jump momentum like we do in the B-hop, guess what? You get to do 2 overheads in a row like that. This is obviously a lot faster than going like this, because you're not going to do the roll animation. Instead, you're just going to do 2 overheads in a row. So here's a normal overhead with the double jump overhead. So overhead, we hit the ground, double jump overhead, and then here is carrying that momentum like this. So the way we do this is we just double jump or do an animation cancel, whatever, and then we time the overhead so that it connects as we're touching the ground. And this is going to allow us to hold left click or hold right trigger, whatever punch button is on Xbox or PlayStation, and you are instantly going to go into that second overhead without doing the jump roll animation. So what this means is that when we are fighting tanks, we can do this normal combo like this, and then we can do the overhead and jump into another overhead. And look at how low that just got Thor, man. That took the majority of his health, and tanks are obviously something that Spider-Man struggles with killing. But if we're trying to chase down a Magneto who is in his shield, this is going to be our best option. Both doing that actual combo and just combining double overheads with that little animation cancel in order to do a pretty optimal amount of damage. We can always spam overheads on characters with a lot of health that we are unable to kill. Let's just do it on this tank right here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Look at all that damage. All right, now my next piece of knowledge is just a kind of fact that you should know to get more technical with this character. This is something you have to know, and it is that your attacks do pretty much twice as much damage when someone is webbed with a spider tracer. Let me do an uppercut on this guy right here and then shoot a web at him. Look at his health, man. It's right above the B on bot in Galactabot. Now let me shoot a web on this guy, do an uppercut, quite literally double the damage. So you need to get creative with your combos and do combos that match the current situation situation that you are in order to optimize damage with this character. A perfect example would be, okay, I web this guy, I pull him to me, now I know he's marked with the tracer, so I have to do a melee attack. You know, it's all just relative to what you want to do, but in order to optimize your melee combos and get real creative, you have to be fully aware of the fact that your attacks do double the damage while they are marked. Necros' go-to combo at this very moment is going to be web, punch web, uppercut, which fully utilizes the double damage off of them being marked by the spider tracer. The final thing I want to talk about is just how much you need to use this right here without locking onto them. Let's say that your team is in here, you're in a 6v6 situation, and their team is in a 6v6 situation as well. We're fighting each other. We're both in a group of 6. Guess what? I can grab this guy, pull him to my team for a free kill. This is just something you need to know if you want to be a technical Spider-Man, alongside of using this to do combos such as that right there. If y'all want a full combo guide, make sure to let me know by leaving a like on this video, and make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss that combo guide if it actually comes out. I appreciate y'all watching, and I will see you later.